so disappointing. The chances are there to bridge this gap on the top 4 for whoever wants to take it. Grab it with 2 hands, make a go of it. And we can't seem to do that every time we get a chance to do it. The last time it was we had to beat Everton at home after beating Man City, crumbled. Then it was Watford after that, crumbled. Obviously Liverpool, but we're not going to beat them. And then today you're thinking, surely, Scumbaggery FC come here. Chris Wood does what he does, and that's no disrespect to Burnley. That's how they play. They play to their strengths. More fool us for not being able to deal with it, but that's just how I see them. And it's just an absolute mess. Not even just looking at Ollie, like just everything just seems to be an absolute mess, and it doesn't look like any way out anytime soon.
No one seems to care. I mean, I've said to you before, Ollie's not the right man, in my opinion, but overall, like everyone else is saying, he's not being backed whatsoever. I mean, that team is horrendous. If you look at them players, if you're saying Pereira free transfer, Lingard free transfer, who in their right mind wants them? They're absolutely woeful. And my biggest thing is the lack of desire. We went 2-0 down, everyone's just like, we go again. It's bollocks. It's all the time. It's just the constant, no one gives a shit. And like I said so many times to people, Marshall, for example, he plays 2 out of 10 games in a row. The 11th game, he's playing. Shaw's playing. The only time Shaw's not playing now is because Williams is now sort of challenging. But I feel sorry for the kids. Greenwood, Brandon Williams was pretty decent again today, but he's just left out there just to say, go on, just deal with it on your own. Then, as loads of the other guys have said, you need some experienced players around them to help them, to guide them, to nurture them, to sort of show them what the right way. And they're just being left out there just to kind of rot. And like people like Fred's been brilliant for the last 2 months, and he shouldn't be playing that team losing all the time. It's nonsense. No one cares, mate. No one cares.
The investment going to come? You see how this team is so depleted. You see how this team is struggling so bad. You're looking at the owners. Surely they're going to spend some money on this team, or are they? Is it there?
But everyone knows, obviously the common phrase of speculate to accumulate, right? But the problem with these guys, they don't care. They're not football men like all of us lot, or football fans. They don't care about what's going on as long as they're getting the money. And I've said it so many times. We finish 2nd or finish 12th, we're still going to be getting money. They don't care. If you get Bruno Fernandes and Cavani, for example, we can get top 4. The league is woeful. Like Leicester have lost loads of games. Chelsea have lost, I think, 6 and 9. Yet they're still ahead of us. They lost 6 and 9, and we're still behind them. This team's rubbish. And like Pereira, Lingard, what do they do? What do they do? Pereira today, absolutely disgraceful.
And for Ollie to take, Ollie took him off at Liverpool because he saw that he was having a bad game. Brings Matter in. And he keeps still persisting in starting him, rips him off at half-time after a very poor first half from me. I thought he had. It just goes from bad to worse in terms of even the selection. Like, these players are still getting in.
For me, the problem obviously is the squad depth. We all know that. But in summer, we all said that the squad's decimated. We're going to struggle. We've had what, 4 or 5 injuries. We've not even had that many as people think we have. Back in the day when Arsenal used to get 15 injuries in a season, we'd be screwed, you know what I mean? But the problem we've got with Pereira, he's playing week in, week out. He's been absolutely toilet, and yet he's still getting game time. I just don't get it. People say, oh, well, there's no one else. Play Gomez, play Chong, play anyone. Because it can't be any worse than that.
And that's the thing. Gomez can't get a kick in this team at all. Chong looks like he's going to be out of the door.
People are saying Gomez ain't playing because he's on his way out. If he's on his way out, why is he in the squad then? Well, you can't have it both ways. Do you mean play him? It can't get any worse than this. And the problem we've got is as well, it's not even the kids. Like Williams was one of our best players today, as he has been the last few games. Greenwood always plays well when he plays. You got other young kids that are always giving it their all. Our worst players are our experienced players, and unfortunately, some of our experienced English players that people keep banging on about. I'm all up for British players, but even Dan James, he's an average player. If we're honest, if in 3 years' time we had the team that we wanted, James is a squad player at best. If we're honest, and it's not his fault. But he's playing week in, week out, saying, go on, just get a goal for us. He's literally just been left to rot. It's not his fault. He's got no guidance, he's got no nothing. No one's helping him. He's a kid, and he's 21 years old. He's probably, played 60 games in his life? And you're just saying, go out there, mate. It's not fist.
And that's the standards that we've dropped to. The fact that, and that's not even getting onto James's back. It's not his fault. He's been thrusted in and doesn't have the chance to slowly develop into a top player. He's just straight in there almost every game.
In my opinion, I don't think he's Man Utd quality, but at the same time, it's not his fault. He's just been left there to say, go on, win the game for us. He's a kid at the end of the day. There's some guy behind me today booing every time Brandon Williams put a ball in it, and it was a rubbish ball, but he's going boo. I'm like, he's an 18-year-old kid. When Lingard does it or Mata does it, you're like, oh yeah, cheering. Even today, we lost 2-0 at home to Burnley. People are chanting Red Army, Ollie, Ollie, Ollie. Come on, mate. We lost 2-0 at home to Burnley, and you're chanting.
But is it not a sign? Is on the flip side of that, is it not a sign that it's important at bad times like this to get behind the man who is trying to fix it, and in very difficult situations to unite?
It's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
Is he trying to help us? If you think about it, I get it. People say you can't throw your employers under the bus. You're not going to come out and go, Glazers are crap, Woodward are crap, because they employ you. I understand that. But on the flip side, you ain't got to say Woodward's brilliant, Glazers are brilliant. You mean you could just go?
Because he's saying he's getting the backing from them, and we're not seeing it, are we?
That's what's pissing everyone off. Like, don't slag him off, but then don't praise him as well. He's the kind of guy that a burglar will come to his house and he'll shake his hand on the way out. What are you doing? Wake up! You mean? And the problem with Ollie is, whether you're Ollie in or Ollie out, he's got to help himself. Like someone said earlier, he's not helping himself whatsoever.
Why not? What's he doing for you that's making him help himself?
Mate, everyone knows, anyone with eyes knows that team needs players. You get a midfielder and you get a striker, we need that minimum. And we need that in summer. So Ollie now is going, oh yeah, it's good enough. Matt's coming back, Green was in more games. It's just nonsense, absolute nonsense. And anyone with any brains knows he's just lying through his teeth. I mean, on Twitter the other day I called him Pinocchio. All he does is lie, and obviously Geppetto is lasers on strings. That's all it is, mate. He just lies after lies, non-stop. And the stuff he comes out, it's just nonsense. Oh, City played the best team, blah, 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 they respect us. Come on, mate. And no offence, when Moyes said it, we were all caning him. And I said this today, if Dyche was our manager, you'd be wanting to kill his wife. But because it's Ollie, because he's scored goals for Man United, it's all right. It's nonsense, mate. Judge him as a manager. He's not good enough. Simple.
Cheers, bro. Big thank you to you guys for watching the latest of our videos, and if you want to check out more, make sure you do that just to the right of me. We are the biggest and best Manchester United channel in the world. Make sure you check us out on all of the socials as well: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. The socials are along the bottom. Peace.